How you doing, everybody? Like all of you, I am self-sequestered. So naturally, I caught up on some of the Netflix shows, and when I saw that they were doing a Hollywood one based in the 40s, um, actually, I think this was it was right after the war, so it was the 40s. So I was excited about it because I love classic Hollywood stuff, and I was wondering why nobody was talking about this show. And the look and feel of it was great. So, and that's one of the reasons I wrote Lords of LA is I love classic Hollywood. So why was nobody talking about this thing, and what did I think of it? So I sat through all 7 episodes, and I'm going to do like a little non-spoiler, and then I'm going to go into the spoiler as well. But the look and feel of it was great, and when I turned it on, I was really excited about it. I thought the cast was great, and I had really no expectations about where the story was going to go. Nor did I think that it was going to be as contrived as it was. So the acting was great, the characters are great, the look and feel of it is great. Story, plot, and everything else was kind of wanting, but it's kind of worth a watch. Except it got worse and worse as the show going on. So it was created by Ian Brennan and Ryan Murphy, who have tons of credits behind each of them. This type of show, it's like American Horror Story and things to that effect, like regular TV shows that these guys were doing. So as it went on, it was basically about a writer. They picked out the spots. It wasn't about 2 writers. It was about 1 writer, 1 producer, 2 actors. So everything they could kind of fit together to make a movie, right? So it was just very happenstance that it was about these particular characters, and they wanted to touch on the social implications of the time. Okay, I have no problem with throwing and melding all of these things into the time period. So they want to talk about the racial issues, which were real, in the 40s, and then on top of that, they wanted to talk about homosexuality in Hollywood. Okay, I mean, there's no problem with dealing with that. That was a huge it's a huge epicenter of Hollywood. So, of course, being taught, touching on that, no big deal. And, they wanted to say, well, let's flip the script and we'll talk about, these guys had being male prostitutes and they have to sleep their way to the top. I love that. I love that flipping the script portion of it. But as time went on, they got more comfortable with this in-your-face dialogue and taking these particular stories and get so preachy by the end of it that it ruined the entire piece for me. I mean, it was already a very superficial show, and then they went and got incredibly preachy with it to the point where it was, what's the word they use now? Cringe. It was cringe, So by the end, they were basically punching you in the face about what was wrong with the way people think. Not even that back then. I mean, they were trying to do a commentary on now, and they pulled you out of that world and said, "Hey, are you listening? Are you listening? Are you listening to me?" Yeah. I'm so tired of this woke stuff. It didn't need to go that far. The message was already there in the first few episodes that you didn't need to headbutt everybody, the audience, by the last episode. I suggest you, if you're going to watch this thing, don't even watch the last episode. It really has no bearing on the rest of it, and if it does anything, it destroys the rest of the film, the rest of the series. So, and that's why I kind of wanted to do a review on this, because here's a perfect example about what not to do in a series. And I know that Netflix is very hands off on this stuff. They kind of let people just go crazy, and that's what kind of happened here. Now, I don't know much about Rock Hudson, because obviously Rock Hudson is a real actor, but he's one of the pinnacle characters here, and they play him off really, really stupid. I don't know. So anyway, I'll go into the spoilers now. So if you don't want to hear any of it, then you can shut this off. Now, if let's say I was going to rate this, so let's rate this before I go into spoilers. I would say it's average. It's 5 out of 10. Don't expect much out of it. So let me go into the spoilers here real quick. So there's, like I said, there's all these different movie people. All right, they all have looking for different jobs. They're all younger. They're all coming here with the dream, and this is why a lot of people flock here to Hollywood, because there's shows like this that make it look super easy. So there's one of the guys that comes here. He's married to this woman who he doesn't love, and it's pretty obvious from the onset. And he's obviously continually cheating on her because of the fact he's from the war. He's a soldier. Came back, wanted to go to Hollywood to be an actor, had no training whatsoever, none. And this is brought up several times that he's never had an acting class, and he wants to be an actor. So, and he has this look, and they even say to him, "Well, you're pretty. You're a dime a dozen." So they're behind on their bills. So his wife says, "Go get a damn job." And he gets a job at a gas station, basically being a male prostitute. That's what this guy does. And the owner of the gas station, who's a great character, by the way, he says, "I had a dream too. Didn't work out for me. I wanted to be an actor. Didn't happen." But that, of course, is the mentor guy. He wasn't meant to be an actor. He's meant to facilitate, and he comes off as a dick completely throughout the show until the end, where they flip the script on him too. So anyway, he's forced into doing some gay stuff which he doesn't want to do, right? So he doesn't want to sleep with a man. He's already cheating on his wife with women. So his boss fires him and says, "If you're not going to do it, then find me somebody who does." So he finds this gay guy in a gay movie theater, and basically pretends to be a cop and recruits him. And he's a writer, and he's got this movie. So now we have an actor and a writer. Then we're introduced to the director. And the director's meeting with this Asian woman, and the Asian woman didn't get the role because she was Asian in this other film that she should have won an Oscar for, and they had to have a white woman in there because of the fact that they couldn't do Asians. Asian wouldn't sell or whatever else. So meanwhile, the other guy, the main guy, is now whose name is Jack, and he's not really based on anybody, and he ends up having an affair, not an affair, but I guess an affair through the gas station. He's paid to sleep with this older woman who just happens to be the wife of the biggest studio in Hollywood. Okay. So, and then he's sleeping with another woman who's like one of the heads of casting, or is in casting. So she ends up giving him a role, and he gets a screen test, and blah, blah, blah. And so this young director, and they get hooked up with the writer, who is, of course, black, because we can't have a black person being a writer, so there's this whole thing, which that storyline was fine. And then they turn the main character, who's based this script that this guy wrote is based on a real person. But the director's girlfriend is black, and she's a good actress. So now they're going to try to get her to be the main actress in this film. And I thought it was pretty good. One scene where they said, the writer says, "Look, I don't want the main character to be black because I don't want this to be a black film." And I thought that was pretty interesting take on it. But of course, and I think they should have left it that way, where she was put off because of her color, her race, and she couldn't get this role. But of course, they double back on everything. The head of the studio ends up being very sick, and basically is in a coma kind of thing. And now his wife is running things, and she decides to change the world on all of this. And that's basically the storyline. And then, of course, we have Rod Hudson and the guy from Jim Parsons, the guy from Big Bang Theory. The guy from Big Bang Theory who plays Sheldon. He's a huge manager / agent, and he is basically using all of the guys that work under him for him to sleep with, and stuff like that. And I thought that was kind of gross but interesting. But he gets incredibly preachy by the end too. By the end, with the Oscars thing, of course they all win Oscars. So the guy that has no training gets the main role. The first-time writer gets this huge thing, and it's so easy, So here we are, sleeping our way to the top, but it's okay here, And by the end, she gets a visit from Queen Latifah and says, "You sit in the front row," and then you have Parsons' character at the end. It's like, "I want to make the first gay movie," and oh my God, it just and there should always be, oh my God, it was just like whoosh, whoosh. If you're going to make social commentary, it just has to be woven into the story. And by the end, it was it wasn't. It was. I mean, you should hear some of the dialogue. When you do, you'll see what I'm saying. But it started out decent, and then having it so convenient for all of these people to hook up, and then making this master film that wins Oscars, and everything's so easy in here. It's crazy how easy everything was. And I just, if they were going to do this type of show, I think it should have been harder. And everything shouldn't have worked out. Then it would have been real life. But here they called it Hollywood, but it's really not. It's really, here's heaven coming down and pulling strings. That's the only way this would ever work. Anyway, that's my review of this show. The look and feel was great. Acting was good. Other than that, it's kind of trash. So anyway, that's my review. Let me know what you thought below, and have fun self-sequestering yourself until all this finally ends. All right, have a good one.